Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Easy English Bible Study Podcast. My name is David Gray, and together we're going to read the Bible, and I will make some comments in easy to understand English. Okay, let's get started. Hello again. I hope you're doing well. Before I start, I just want to tell you about the email that you can use to contact me if you want to comment on this podcast. It's Easy English Bible Study at gmail.com. Easy English Bible Study at gmail.com. It's also in the notes for this episode. Okay, today's reading is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, verses 11 to 31. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, verses 11 to 31. Verse 11. Meanwhile, Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "You have said so," Jesus replied. When he was accused by the chief priests and the elders, he gave no answer. Then Pilate asked him, "Don't you hear the testimony they are bringing against you?" But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor. Okay, so Jesus is refusing to answer. He's being accused by the chief priests. He's being accused. They're saying that he did bad things. They're probably saying that Jesus said he would destroy the temple. And so they're accusing Jesus of many things. And usually in a court, usually in a trial like this, you try to defend yourself, right? You try to say, "No, I didn't do that. That's wrong." But here Jesus refuses to reply. Verse 15. Now it was the governor's custom at the festival to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. Okay, so it was a custom. It was something they did every year. Every year, the Roman authorities, this governor, would allow a prisoner to go free. The crowd of people could choose who goes free. Verse 16. At that time, they had a well-known prisoner whose name was Jesus Barabbas. So interesting, his name also starts with Jesus. Verse 17. So when the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, "Which one do you want me to release to you, Jesus Barabbas or Jesus who is called the Messiah?" For he knew it was out of self-interest that they had handed Jesus over to him. So he's asking the crowd, who do they want to allow to go free? And he knew that the religious leaders, the chief priests, were only arresting Jesus for their own selfish reasons, not for he knew Jesus was innocent. So he's trying to find a way for Jesus to be set free. Verse 19. While Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, his wife sent him this message: "Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him. So Pilate is the name of the governor. His wife is saying, don't make any trouble with Jesus. Don't have anything to do with him. He's innocent. I know this because I had a terrible dream because of him today. Verse 20. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. Okay, so the chief priests, the leaders, told the crowd, choose Barabbas. How did they persuade them? I don't know. Persuade is to have someone change their opinion or have a certain opinion. You're trying to influence the people. Verse 21. Which of the two do you want me to release to you? Asked the governor. So he asks the crowd. Barabbas, they answered. What shall I do then with Jesus, who is called the Messiah? Pilate asked. They all answered, crucify him. So crucify is to die on the cross. That was one way that the Romans would kill or execute criminals at that time. Verse 23, why? What crime has he committed? Asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, crucify him. So they didn't answer Pilate's question. Verse 24, when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. I am innocent of this man's blood, he said. It is your responsibility. So he washes his hands to say, I am not responsible for this. I am not guilty of this situation. And we use that expression in English often, to wash your hands of a situation, to say, I'm not participating in this. I think this is wrong. I'm not participating. This is your responsibility, not mine. So we see here that Pilate is avoiding responsibility. He tries to have the crowd choose Barabbas, but then the chief priests influence the crowd to have Jesus executed and Barabbas set free. And then when that happens, Pilate says, I wash my hands of this, and says, this is your responsibility. Verse 25, all the people answered, his blood is on us and on our children. Wow, that's a very strong statement. This is our responsibility. You can blame us and our children. That's very strong. Verse 26, then he released Barabbas to them, but he had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. So Jesus is tortured, he's flogged, and he's now going to be crucified. Okay, let's continue. Verse 27. Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. So now Jesus is with the soldiers. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. And then they twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand. Okay, this is very sad to talk about, but I'm going to explain it anyway. So they took off his clothes, they stripped him, they took off his clothes, they put a deep red robe on him, and they made a crown, but this crown is of thorns. You can look that up in the dictionary, but perhaps you've seen an image of this. Thorns, Thorns. It made a crown. That's what goes on a king, right? And they put a staff in his right hand. So they are mocking him. They're making him look silly. They're making him look like a king, but they're doing it in a way that is very disrespectful. It's terrible. So verse 29 again. And then they twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. That must have been very painful. They put a staff in his right hand. Then they knelt in front of him and mocked him. Hail, King of the Jews, they said. So they don't mean it. They're saying it to mock him. They spit on him, and they took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. So they're hitting him over and over. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him. Well, it's so sad that Pilate was not brave enough to stop this. He could have stopped this. He could have said, Jesus is innocent. I see nothing wrong. But instead of being strong, he gave the responsibility to the people, to the crowd. And a crowd of people can be a very dangerous thing, right? And it's so sad for me today to read with you about how they treated Jesus and how they beat him. So the only thing I can comment on here is that we know that in the previous episode, Jesus was very much afraid. He's very nervous. He was overwhelmed in the Garden of Gethsemane. And I'm sure he knew that this kind of thing was going to happen to him. Okay, but Jesus was so brave to undergo it and to be strong. What a wonderful Savior we have, even though this is such a very sad story. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening to the end. And that's the end of this bonus episode. Again, if you would like to contact me, you can contact me at easyenglishbiblestudy@gmail.com. easyenglishbiblestudy@gmail.com. It's in the notes for this episode. You can find the spelling, but I'm sure you're okay. And thank you very much. It's so sad to read today's reading, isn't it? But this is part of Lent. This is the sad part of the year. Okay. Thank you for listening, and take care, and God bless you. Bye-bye.